Good morning, trade pros. Welcome to our morning market update for this Tuesday, June the 30th. Today is the last day of the quarter, all right? And also, it's the last day of the first half of the year. So it's a quarter and half year end. And, I just got to say, boy, how fast the time flies. Here we are, right? If you think about it, we started the new year, massive pandemic. We're sort of not over it, but we've accepted and we're dealing with it and pretty close to being over it with it, hopefully. And tons of movement, tons of volatility throughout the first quarter and then the second quarter as well. So here we are. What the important thing about quarter and half year end is that we could see some choppier trade today. All right. I hate to say this, but today being the last day of the month, the last day of the 6-month period of 2020, could bring in some choppier trade. Here's why. All right. You get to see a lot of rebalancing taking place, which means there's institutional traders and other traders who are non-institutional. Institutional means that you're crazy and institutionalized, trading from in a straitjacket in one of those white apartment complexes. No, that's not what it means, but pretty much. You're going to see a lot of institutional money looking to rebalance. In addition to that, a lot of money is going to want to roll their hedge forwards to do delta gamma hedging, right? And to really manage their exposure to the stock market and the risk. And because of that reason, you can see a lot of buying and selling that doesn't necessarily make sense. You'll have a level, you'll say, I love this level, and the level doesn't work. And it's not that the levels don't work typically, it's just that today is one of those wacky days. All right, this week we also have a short week because of the July 4th holiday in the United States. Friday markets are closed. Futures are still open till 1 p.m. Eastern, but the markets are closed on Friday. So we will not be doing a morning market update or trading in the room. Okay, so we really have a compressed week already with lighter volumes, but now we have a quarter and half year end. All right, if you look at the second, the second quarter, S&P 500 is up about 18% in that time period. The second quarter is when we bottomed out, and we're the question is, are we on a V bottom recovery? That 18% rally means that most indices, most funds that manage people's money are overweight equities. Okay, when equities rally, what ends up happening is you have to send a statement telling your shareholder, we promised you 60% equity exposure. Now we're up to like 64%. So we're underweight in bonds. So what a lot of funds will do to restore the balance, if you will, the asset mix, they'll sell equities because they're strong, they'll buy bonds because they're weak. Look for a little bit of that effect into this quarter end. I think you could see a little bit of selling on the back of that, but don't live and die by it. All right, have levels, and whenever markets achieve or breach those levels, then you start triggering your trade ideas. Don't have a bias for too long today; you'll get murdered out there. In other news, Jerome Powell is going to be testifying once again today. He will testify in front of the House Financial Services Committee at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 hour after the European market close. All right, Jerome Powell will warn that the path forward for the U.S. economy is extraordinarily uncertain. And his prepared remarks, all right, everything he's going to say is already out. That's not the part that's going to be interesting to the market. The part that's going to be interesting is being asked and questioned by lawmakers on what his plans and intentions are for the Fed and for monetary policy. If there's anything revealing any kind of slip-ups from Jerome Powell, although I doubt it, he's been at his post quite a while. He's learned the art of Fed chairs speaking a lot but saying nothing. But anywho, if there's anything revealing, you can expect to see a great deal of volatility this afternoon after 12:30. Okay. In addition, Steve Mnuchin joins him, Treasury Secretary, in front of the House Financial Services Committee as well. He too will be grilled. In his prepared remarks, he said that there's a forecast of 17% growth next quarter and a 9% growth in the fourth. Obviously, Steve Mnuchin's expecting a V-shaped recovery. Of course, you could say you expect anything, and that would be fantastic. I'd love to see that. He is going to say 3/4 of small business are still partially open, and half of the rest will reopen soon from this pandemic. That's the basis on which Mnuchin and Trump administration's basing the recovery. All right, I'm willing to bet that a lot of the House Financial Service Committee members will be grilling them and ask them about the pandemic, how they're willing to deal with it, respond to it. Jerome Powell has already said there needs to be more stimulus provided by the government. And they reiterate the same things we already know. It's not going to be that big of a deal to the market, but there is the potential for a bombshell here at 12:30 if they slip up or say some new information, it could be interesting. All right. In today's markets, Japan's up 1.3, Hong Kong up 0.5 percentage point, China up 0.8, India flat for the day, and in Europe at midday, London's down 0.5%, Paris flat, Frankfurt up 0.3. In the U.S., U.S. futures have erased their overnight gains. They were very small to begin with, and back below the close of yesterday's session, seeing a little bit of sell activity to the downside, but we could call it flat for S&P, Dow, and NASDAQ as of this point. Okay, crude oil is down 1.2%, and the gold prices are up 0.1%, so not much. Bitcoin up 0.6%. You can see not much movement in markets waiting into this quarter end. And today we have at 9:45, 15 minutes after the open, Chicago PMI. That's going to be an important one. Used to be a really important one in markets. Now they don't really care as much. I can understand why, because the Fed's driving these markets. Okay, then 10 a.m., consumer confidence. That's important, super important. Number 11, Fed's Williams is speaking on U.S. recession and policy response. Lyle Brainerd then speaks at 11:05, a decade of Dodd-Frank. That could yield some interesting results. Jerome Powell then testifies at 12:30. And at 2 p.m., Fed's Bostic and Kashkari speak. So a lot of Fed speakers this afternoon. What you need to watch for is Chicago PMI 9:45, consumer confidence at 10 a.m. That'll get you through the morning. Okay, and some Fed speakers top of the hour at 11. All right, that's all we got. I'll tell you this. I'm going to start with selling some rallies. It looks like the structure of the market is shifting to the downside. Question is where? Well, that's what we're going to talk about next. Okay, our updates, our trade ideas, and then we just execute them. Your whole day is done before it even begins as a trader. It all starts with having some good ideas and then waiting for those ideas to pan out. Heavy lifting's done before the market even opens. So let's do some heavy lifting together. Trade pros in the room. Let's talk about equity markets and oil and set up some next best trades. YouTube, you guys have a great day. I'm going to have to let you guys go. Send you love, joy, and happiness. Be good. Trade smart. Manage that risk and trade like a trade pro. Take care. Have an awesome day. Ciao. All right, trade pros, let's talk about equities. These markets are sliding